What's up guys, I'm Kiana and welcome back to my channel. Yes, I look crazy, and that is because you're going to take my makeup off with me while we talk about something that I really want to talk about. That I've been meaning to talk about for way sooner before today, but I just haven't had the time and I just need to address it. So let's get into it. So this is last night's makeup. I'm very bad and wore it to bed because I got home very late. I went to a Bengals game and I wanted to document it and I just didn't. I was just living in the moment, and you know, that's just what I'd rather do than worry about filming something. Of course I have footage from the game, but keep it for myself. So I'm just gonna use some, I'm so sorry if this is shaky. I am so sorry. My tripod is broken, it's like really loose. So I have some micellar water and some cotton rounds. I'm gonna take my makeup off, and my hair is a little messy, but I'm not really gonna be worrying about my hair today. What I want to talk about is a little deep and it's a little serious, and we're gonna be talking about mental health and depression and things like that. So if that triggers you or you don't want to hear about that, then you don't have to listen, or if you can't listen, that's understandable. So I don't want you to listen to something that might trigger you or upset you. So I'm just letting you know now. A couple days ago, and I have to say, the older I get, the more I seriously do not understand these family vlogging channels and how they still exist, because they're just so inappropriate and they get away with so much, like exploiting their children, and not just exploiting their children, but exploiting their own real life situations just for clout and for fame and to keep their channel to grow. And it's crazy that people actually feed into this stuff, but a lot of these people are pedos, and they reach out to these videos because they know they're going to be posting their kids doing things that are just disgusting. And I could go on and on and on about the things that I have watched over the years on family vlogging channels of these children, and never realized until now that it's starting to really be talked about that it was just so inappropriate. And how I used to want to grow up and be a family vlogger, like scary. So one big popular channel is the Labrant family, and I feel like most people have heard of them. They're also very controversial. Now, I want to make another disclaimer. I did not judge anybody for their religion or what they believe, okay? Everybody has their own beliefs. Everybody has their own thoughts and opinions when it comes to different religions. That's okay. That's allowed. However, the way that you go about your religion sometimes can be a little too much. And you yourself can be so engulfed in your religion, and that is okay. But when you start forcing it on people is when I start to get very irritated, and I draw the line. I hated growing up as a kid and I would have religion forced on me. If a child grows up and decides that the religion that their family is practicing, if they decide that that is something they want to practice when they grow up, okay. As a child who could never understand the power or the presence of a higher being, even adults who can't even understand it, why would you want to force it on them? Let them grow up and have their own, belief about it. And when I say grow up, I don't mean 11 years old. I mean like 15, 16, where you're kind of a little bit older and you can kind of learn, you can kind of understand things somewhat better. So the Labrant fam, most people know they're Christians, I think. They're super, super religious. They let you know every chance they get, especially the father of the family, Cole. I mean, he's very, very vocal about his religion. And like I said, I don't think there's anything wrong about being vocal about your religion, but I do think there's a wrong way to talk to people about religion and about your specific religion. And honestly, I feel like Christianity is the only religion where I see people force it on other people. Mormons are a different breed, but I never see anybody force it on anybody unless it's their own family. Catholicism, Catholics, I never see that forced on anybody, and that could just be me because I don't run in a lot of circles with a lot of religion. I am very spiritual, but I don't identify with a religion. I find religion and spirituality to be two different things, and that's a video for a whole different day. Because you're religious does not mean that you're immune from life's problems because you have God on your side. And I'm not saying that to offend anybody. I swear I'm not. I had a lot of people in my life around me that are super religious and grew up religious and really, really rely on the power of the word and of God to get them through their everyday life. And that is okay. I'm not judging you. However, there are real illnesses out there in the world, like real life illnesses, cancer, diseases that you're born with, you know, things that are deadly and fatal and that ruin your life and ruin your family's life. And one of those things is also depression, mental illness, mental health. Something that has always for so many years been so taboo to talk about, because there's people that believe in mental health and there's people that don't, which is so wild to me. I love my dad to pieces, but me and him have been in multiple arguments because he just never understood when I was depressed, because I have severe depression and severe anxiety. Whenever I was depressed, he didn't understand it. He told me to just get up and not be depressed. And I told him, telling somebody to get up and not be depressed is like telling a cancer patient to get up and not have cancer. It is literally something happening in your body that you can't control. Getting to my point for today. I seriously cannot stand when people think that religion is supposed to cure all of life's problems. And the Labrant family, specifically Cole, I really want to tread lightly because there's children involved, but at the same time, because there's children involved, I want to make it a point. Raising your children in a religious household, knowing they're going to grow up one day and not be at home and not always be exposed to religion. There's going to be other things they're exposed to. They're going to be exposed to people who aren't religious and people who are going to be very mean because they don't believe in what your child is saying. I don't think there's anything wrong about being confident about in the power that you believe, in the God you believe. But I think there's a problem with letting your children grow up thinking that's the only answer to their problems, the only thing that matters in the world. That's the only thing that exists in the world. So I do follow I cannot speak today. I follow the Labrant family on social media. Like I said, way back in the day, I was very big on watching family vlogging channels. Like I was part of that era where that was kind of like all anybody watched. And I myself, I'm guilty of it. Even 8 Passengers, I had a phase where I watched a lot of their videos. I've talked about it before. I got to the point where I had to stop watching their videos because something about it made me so uncomfortable. It was very far from weird. It was sad. So anyway, back to Cole Labrant. He is very religious. He makes it very known, and he exploits his children to share their religion. Which to me, I find it very hypocritical when there's religious people on the internet exploiting their children, because I just feel like, that's kind of doing things wrong in God's eyes, don't you? But anyway, he made a post a couple weeks ago, might have not been a couple weeks ago, it was a week or so ago, on Instagram, where he was, I forget where he was saying something, he was sharing something religious, and anytime I see something that's religious, I immediately just I lose interest. I don't remember, so I have the picture and I screenshot it, and I'm mad. I wanted to do this video way sooner than I am doing it, but I am super busy. Like, YouTube is not my life. I have a real job, and I have just been so freaking busy, and I forget what the Instagram post was that he was talking about in this particular story that he made. So he went to go check the comments on, I remember now. He went to go check the comments. I was a video of his 2 young children singing a gospel song or a church song, which I ultimately don't find a problem with children singing church songs. I mean, I literally grew up in the church singing church songs, and honestly, I'm not trying to offend anybody, but as a kid singing the songs, I didn't know that I was worshiping. I just was singing a song. And when you're a kid, singing is fun, you know? But when I read the comments, I could kind of understand where people were coming from. They were just like, they were saying that you're forcing your kids to do this. You're exploiting your kids on the internet to spread religion. And honestly, I can see what people are saying, because if you really want somebody to believe in what you're saying, use a child. Everybody loves children. Everybody thinks they're cute. Everybody's going to listen to what a child is saying because people think children are cute. And I'm sorry, I have really bad acne and really disgusting skin. So when I use these, sometimes if I'm having a bad breakout and I wash my face, some of my breakouts bleed. I'm sorry. So I'm going to try to get this under control, and then I'll be back. He went to his Instagram story because the comments on that video of his children singing was actually pretty brutal. And I feel like like I said, you want to tread lightly because there's children involved, but then you also want to like really stick up for the children involved because you just don't know what's going on. Everybody fighting for those children and 8 passengers on the internet. I mean, people reported to CPS, even the own family reported it, and it took for something so horrible as the child escaping for people to listen. So sometimes, you know, even you can do everything you can and what you're doing is not enough because people are so engulfed in these freaking people's lives on the internet. He went to Instagram and he made this post, and this is the reason I'm making the video because I don't normally get triggered by a lot of things social media people do, but this triggered me hard. So Labrant said this, quote, "I went to go check out the comments and these were some of the top ones. We don't let the bad take away from the reality that there's so many people who love and support our faith and values we stand for." So the top ones were people saying like it's cult behavior, making your children sing on the internet, like religious music. It was like a very overproduced video of them singing. I don't really know how I feel about that video and the comments that people are saying. I don't really agree or disagree with what people were saying. It's just what he said in this post that triggered me. But it is a reminder that there's so many people out there who don't want God, who actually get angry when they see a family raising their kids to love God. And when I see comments like that, it only reminds me that it's time to buckle down, that this is the world we will one day send our kids out into, and we have a short time to prepare them. What I don't understand is you have to know, like as an adult, that there are a million religions out there, and yours that you study with your children in your household is not the only one they're ever going to be exposed to. Or there's a lot of people out there that they're going to one day grow up around that have no religious belief, have no spirituality, and do not believe in any of that. And you need to prepare them for that. You need to let them know, not in a derogatory way, like there's people out there that don't want God, stay away from them. Make your kids grow up and believe that the only thing that's ever going to be around them is their religion, because that's like telling your kids it's always sunshine and rainbows in the world. Like, just don't raise them in a false reality. We have a short time to prepare them, because if they aren't rooted in the truth, love, and peace of God, they'll believe all the lies that are out there and become let me go back. If they aren't rooted in the truth, love, and peace of God, this is the part of the post that really, really irked me. Basically, if they don't believe in God and worship God every single day and live by the Bible or whatever their religion tells them to do, their life's gonna suck, essentially. So he goes on to say, if they aren't rooted in the truth, love, and peace of God, they'll believe all the lies that are out there and become a victim to the enemy's depression and anxiety that is devouring young people today. So basically he's saying, because people that don't find God, if you don't find God or you don't believe in God or you don't worship God, that you're going to grow up and you're going to be a victim of depression and anxiety. So I have depression and anxiety because I haven't found God, which he's saying that if you don't believe in God and you don't have a strong faith in God, then you're going to have depression and anxiety. That sent me through the roof. I read it and I literally I was boiling. I was like, so that's like it's literally like telling somebody who has any illness in the world because they didn't believe in God, that's why they got the illness. And I completely can see Cole being that person to literally blame sickness on people because they're not strong in the fruit of God. And the wording that he uses in his Instagram posts all the time is just so frustrating. Why does every word you say have to be so it's always talking about the fruit of our marriage, the fruit of our children and the way we're raising our children. I mean, it's just too much. And I have always grown up, and this is just my mindset, and if you don't agree, that's fine. I always feel like the people who force religion and that's all they talk about and it's the only way they live their life, like they can't talk about anything other than religion constantly, are the people who are trying to convince themselves of something. And I mean, it is what it is. But I think as an adult, do whatever you want. But when you're raising children, I think it's really sad that you raise your children to basically think that if they don't do what you say and live this way, that they're going to grow up and have anxiety and depression, which they could possibly have that regardless. And you're going to have your kids grow up and think when they see people with these illnesses, it's because they didn't have a strong fruit and faith in God. It's just not fair to the children because they're being taught to basically judge people, which isn't God the only one that's allowed to judge? Like, these people who are religious that are on the internet, they get so hypocritical, and it literally drives me up a wall. But I see in this post, yes, please ignore it. I needed my hair on my face. I seen this. I had to talk about it because as somebody who struggles with anxiety and depression very severely, and I have for a very long time, it really irked me because there's a lot of people out there who struggle with anxiety and depression due to other illnesses in their life, due to a lot of circumstances in life that led them down that path. Nobody chooses to live that way. Nobody wants to be anxious all the time. And let me just tell you, I grew up very religious and somebody that used to really consider myself a religious person. And I used to very, very much, read the Bible. I was baptized. I very much believed in the word of God, and I still do to an extent, but there's a lot of stuff about religion I don't agree with. And one of those things is using your religion to scare your children, or to scare other people into thinking they're living their life wrong because of this A, B, and C. I just really can't understand raising your kids to think that it's okay to judge people who don't agree with your religion. One of the things, growing up, it was hard for me because I never felt like my dad forced religion on me, but I do feel like he talked about it a lot. And I never resented him for it because he eventually got to a point where he wanted me to come to him. If I wanted to talk about religion, I could come to him. He wasn't going to force it on me because I told him, I said, I just don't know. And so he left me alone about it. And eventually I came to him, and now we don't have the same beliefs, but we are able to talk about it together because he gave me that space in that room to decide what I wanted for myself. And there's still times where I'll do something and he'll say, something like, oh, well, you really need to be careful. Like, it is what it is, but it's not something that's going to make me hate my father. But raising your kids to have this type of mindset is very scary because when they get out into the real world, and there's so many people out there who are going to eat it up, especially because these children's lives are on the internet. There's probably already comments out there that they're going to see one day. And it's just so sad to think that people really do raise their children. I mean, they use religion as a scare tactic for children, as a control tactic for their children. Because you shouldn't raise your children to think that people get illnesses and people get sick or struggle with anxiety and depression because they don't have a strong faith in God. You should raise your children that people get anxiety and depression because they could have gone through X, Y, and Z, or, it's genetic, or you just get it and you don't know why sometimes. It just happens. And like I was saying earlier, as somebody who grew up religious and I was religious for a long time, I felt like just as much anxiety and depression then as I do now, not a religious person. So it just does have nothing to do with that. And I know a lot of people who are religious who went through a lot of mental struggle. It has nothing to do with your fruit in God or whatever he said. It disgusted me to think that this is the way he's raising his children. I don't know about Savannah. They both exploit the children, but Cole is very heavy in the exploitation of their children. I really wanted to focus on this post because it affected me directly. It offended me very highly. But he also, if you want to get into the child exploitation thing of this all, he posted a video of him potty training his child, while she was on the toilet, to Instagram with all the kids in her face and they're all in the bathroom. It was just disgusting. This bothered me personally because it's just why are you raising your children to think that religion is the answer to all life's problems? Because it really isn't. And sometimes you really need to teach your children how to fend for themselves and not rely on something else to get them through it. I had to read it a few times to just think, is he really putting this on the internet? If they aren't rooted in the truth, love, and peace of God, they'll believe all the lies that are out there and become a victim to the enemy's depression and anxiety. When he says lies, I don't understand that either. Lies, what? People who live their life the way they want to live it and not the way you want them to live it or the way you agree with, so it's a lie? I don't know. I think being strong and heavy in your religion is okay, but to put that out there on the internet, especially when you have as big as a following as you do, okay. Almost everything he shares is religious. And like I said, if you want to practice your religion and be loud and proud about it, that's okay. But as I've said, there's just certain ways to do it. I took most of my makeup off. Now I'm going to go cleanse my face and get in the shower. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I'm also going to be doing a video soon of my thoughts of the new Dance Moms, a new era, because oh my gosh, we have to talk about it. So I'll see you guys next time. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and let me know what you think about this whole Labrant situation, family vlogging, and all that other junk. And I really hope I didn't offend anybody in their religion, because that was not my goal. I just really seriously did not agree with what he was saying here, and we can agree to disagree. That's what people do in life. We don't always agree on things, and that's okay. All right. Peace.